Hi everyone, today I'm going to be going ahead and demonstrating our scrolling text widget. Now with our scrolling text widget, there are several ways that you can pull in information, but let me just go ahead and start showing this. So if I go ahead and drag in our scrolling text widget, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, and if you've seen our other tutorials, you know that you can change the font size with a lot of our elements, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, just so you can get a better idea of what's going on. So as you can see, as soon as we brought in that widget, text began scrolling and it's reflected immediately within our canvas. Now if I go back up to the top here on our main properties, you can see that there's data origin. Now I mentioned there are many ways that you can bring in this information, but if I click on this drop down here, I have text, message board, and RSS feeds as options. Now the first one I'm going to start with is text because it's the most simple. Text, as you can see here, it just pulls in text that you've entered in this box and puts it in the RSS feed. So let me go ahead and write something here. I'm just going to type in fruits. Oh, I put oranges twice, but we'll just leave it at that. So as you can see here, the text is now scrolling. And what I can do is I can go into the properties here. I can change the speed at which it scrolls. I can make it slower or faster. I'm just going to leave it in the middle. I can also change the direction in which the information is flowing in. And I can also go ahead and select this trim option. And what this trim option does is, so you see how it's going perfectly into this box here and there's no sort of fade animation. So let's see what this looks like here when I adjust trim. You're now going to see that the text fades in and it fades out, and it's going to continue to do that. Now, let's say that I didn't want this white gap here in between my information, as you see here. That's when we're going to select endless. And what endless is going to do is make it look like it's a continuous stream of information. So, and there we go. Now you can see that it repeats itself. Now, as you saw before, I changed the font size. Like with all of our other widgets, you can also change the font size, change the font family, and other things of that nature. Now, let's go ahead and talk about our next option, which is RSS Feed. If you don't know, RSS feeds are ways to bring in live sources of data, such as headlines. So if you're thinking of a news feed, it will basically pull the top titles of news articles and go ahead and display those. So I chose a CNBC RSS feed, and all you're going to do is pull in a URL. So, and that's what I'm doing here. Let me slow it down a bit. And as you can see, now it's bringing in international news, and it's going to continue to go ahead and scroll in here until it's gone through all of its stories for the day, and then it's just going to repeat that. So now that we understand RSS feeds, let's talk about message boards. Now, message boards, to access this, you see that it says you can add messages in the settings menu. And so how do we get there? So to go ahead and get into that menu, I'm going to go ahead and go onto our home page here. And I'm going to save my changes like so. I'm going to go to settings and then come all the way down here to messages. Now what you see here is several messages that have already been typed out, but basically what the message board allows you to do is kind of create your own RSS feed and show information that is based on a date range that you have assigned it, as well as the text information that you want to show. Now as you can see here, we have Happy 4th of July. We have it being stored on the root screen group, and you can set this to different groups to display certain information to your screen groups, but I'm just going to choose just the default group. And then valid from, this is going to be the day you want it to start playing, so as you can see it starts on the 4th of July, but the year is wrong here, so I want to change this to 2020, so it goes ahead and shows, but first I gotta choose the end date here. So let's scroll over here, go to July, and let's choose the 5th here. And we'll just make it the end of the day. And now we have to go back into this one, select the year, choose July, and then we'll have it start on the 4th at 1 a.m. Perfect. Okay, so now that we've done this, it's not going to show now because it's past the 4th of July, but let's actually extend this date a bit here. And now, when we go back into our content editor, it should show this message here, Happy 4th of July. So let's go ahead and save. Go back to home. Go back into our content here. And as you can see, it is now bringing in that message board. Now, some use cases for this scrolling text, in most cases, it is used exclusively for this RSS feed, but you could also choose things like message boards for, let's say, cafeteria items. As you saw, I listed those fruits, but some cases they use text. So for instance, if you had the message board and instead of saying Happy 4th of July, you had fruits, I'm just simulating this using text. All right, so now that we have this, and then you could just do something like so here, and it's just gonna kind of scroll up. Some other education clients have used this potentially for events as well and announcements. So that's actually gonna be it for this video on our scrolling text widget. There are gonna be more tutorials on this channel covering other widgets and different features within our CMS. If you have any questions, please give us a shout at sales@wallboard.info. Thank you so much and see you next time.